Good afternoon and welcome to Solent Sports News. I'm Luke Woodley-Marshall with your 3 o'clock bulletin. Gareth Southgate's 33-man provisional squad for the Euros has been announced. There are some key absences from the squad, with Aaron Wan-Bissaka, Nick Pope, Patrick Bamford and Southampton's Danny Ings all missing out. Meanwhile, Ben Godfrey, Aaron Ramsdale and Ben White have all been called up to the squad for the first time. Harry Maguire and Jordan Henderson also get the call up to the squad despite previous injury concerns. Despite these tough decisions, the aim remains the same for Gareth Southgate.
We've now been to 2 semi-finals and we are as keen as everybody else to go further. So we understand expectations change and we shouldn't be afraid of saying, you know, we want to go and win.
The England manager's squad selection has divided opinion amongst many. Reporter Carlos Mora took to the streets of Southampton to ask the public who should be in the final 26-man squad when it's announced next week.
With the Euro 2021 coming up next month, Gareth Southgate looks to choose his 26 players for the England squad to give them the best chance to win the tournament. I came here to Southampton to ask the public who they think should be included in those 26 players.
I mean, I would mention that I was sick to death of seeing Rooney in the squad previously. I mean, I don't know what was going on there. I feel like Ward-Prowse should be in there too. Teams like Saints don't get players in. They seem to pick all the players from Man United, Liverpool, you know, all the top clubs, and I don't quite understand that. I think Ward-Prowse has proven himself this season, but really I think the squad looks pretty good. I feel happy and confident that we can do well.
The entire Burnley football team should be in it.
We've had a decent season.
The entire football team and their manager. He must be there as well. So I believe that England should win this, but without any member of the Burnley squad, including their goalkeeper, of course, the Pope.
Harry Kane's been really good this season. I know Tottenham have had an absolute shocker, but you know they've come back. They're 1 point above Arsenal, so that's good to hear. But other than that, you know, good season. Really happy with them. So do you think?
Well, Dyer, I would have thought. I hope. Ingsy, Kane, obviously.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking about goalkeepers. We've got at least three goalkeepers. So I really wouldn't like to say.
The common answer between the fans here in Southampton is that Harry Kane should be selected for the squad, unsurprisingly. However, we did have some people saying that there is a bias between the Big Six in England and that players from the lower clubs should be selected as well. Jack Grealish, James Ward-Prowse, which I think is pretty interesting. And obviously, don't forget Burnley as well.
Wolves look set to appoint former Benfica manager Bruno Lage as their new head coach. The former Benfica boss is set to fly to England to hold talks with Wolves chairman Jeff Shea about taking over from Nuno Espirito Santo, who will leave the club after 4 seasons at the helm. The 45-year-old has previous experience in England, as he was assistant under Carlos Carvalhal during his time at both Sheffield Wednesday and Swansea. Lage was sacked by Benfica in July last year, despite guiding the club to the Portuguese title in 2019. The German national team have revealed that departing Bayern Munich manager Hansi Flick will replace Joachim Löw as head coach after the Euros. Flick has been at Bayern since 2019 after replacing Niko Kovac, and in that time has led them to 6 major trophies, including 2 Bundesliga titles and the Champions League. The former Bayern manager is looking forward to the opportunity to working with such talented young players. New Zealand all-rounder Colin de Grandhomme is set to return to T20 cricket in the summer after joining Hampshire for the upcoming tournament. The Hawks have made Grandhomme the second overseas player for the squad after signing Australian Darcy Short as they look to win the competition for the first time since 2010. The 34-year-old will join the county after New Zealand's scheduled World Test Championship match against India in June. He has previous experience in the competition, playing for Birmingham Bears in 2017 and 2018, and becomes a welcome addition to the Hampshire Hawks. Ferrari will conduct an investigation this week after Charles Leclerc failed to start the Monaco Grand Prix from pole position. Leclerc's car had been checked on Saturday night for gearbox issues, which meant the Monegasque driver failed to start his home race. Team boss Matteo Bonotto had drawn criticism for the incident, but is adamant the team didn't gamble on the gearbox not being damaged. The Utah Jazz guard Jordan Clarkson has been named 2021-20 NBA Sixth Man of the Year. The 28-year-old won it after averaging a career high in points, assists and rebounds throughout 68 games. This is the first six-man honour for Clarkson, who's become the first player to win the annual award with the Jazz. The Utah Jazz will try to tie the series against the Memphis Grizzlies on the Wednesday night. Anthony Joshua could be offered expert sparring with Luis Ortiz as he prepares for Alexander Usyk. The WBA, IBF and WBO champion has been ordered to face Usyk, his WBO mandatory challenger, after the collapse of a proposed undisputed world heavyweight title fight against Tyson Fury. Fury is signed for a third fight against Deontay Wilder on July 24th, whilst Joshua is also expected to make his next world title defence this summer and will need swiftly to assemble sparring partners. And finally, for our Eastleigh Promotion Challenge Special, Eastleigh take on Altrincham tonight in the Vanarama National League in their playoff promotion bid. If the Spitfires are to win their final two games, they will secure a playoff place. Ryan Honey went to Eastleigh's training session to see how preparations were going for their upcoming game.
While the Premier League season may have finished last weekend and the EFL playoff finals are all set up, the National League season is nearing its conclusion. With Sutton already promoted, all eyes turn to the playoffs. Eastleigh's late push for promotion to the Football League for the first time in their history is in their own hands. A fine run of form has kept the Spitfires in contention, following their dip in form just after Christmas.
Just it feels really strange that we won 6 out of 7 and we're still just outside of it. It just shows how well all the other teams around us have been doing as well. We've been winning games of football, but so have they. So yeah, we go to Altrincham tomorrow. Just concentrate on that game first of all. Try and get a positive result. Hopefully that's the 3 points, and then take it into the final day of the season. The main thing is going into the final day of the season. We're still going to have a chance of making the playoffs, whatever happens on Tuesday. But of course, we'll be looking to go there and try and get the 3 points tomorrow night.
With 2 games to go, the South Coast side sit in 9th place, 1 point off 7th spot and the last playoff position. With a game in hand over the teams around them, a win tonight against Altrincham will move them up to 6th. With the return of home fans to football in the past week, manager Ben Strevens emphasised the players will have to adapt to opposition fans being in the ground, as their last 2 games are both away from the Silver Lakes.
We want to be in the playoffs coming in the season, so these 2 games that we've got coming up, if we want to be there, we've got to be used to away fans being right behind their team and still trying to go and win the game.
A trip to Solihull Moors represents the final league game on Saturday, and defender Callum Bourne believes the squad is better equipped 2 years on from their last playoff push.
Quite a few players have obviously gone since when we was last around this position a couple of years ago, but like the core of the team's probably very similar, so where they've already got that experience of being in that position before, kind of hoping that will stand us in good stead this time.
Eastleigh looked to have been in trouble when drawing last weekend with Boreham Wood, until Joe Tomlinson calmly slotted home his penalty in the 94th minute to keep the Spitfires' hopes alive. Harry Yeadon was at the Silver Lake reporting on the match.
It's been a season like no other for Eastleigh FC in the National League, and with just 2 games remaining of their campaign and a game in hand over the teams above them, they just sit 2 points from the playoff spots. Their promotion push was given a late boost here at the Silver Lake Stadium on Saturday as the Spitfires overcame Boreham Wood 1-0 through a 93rd minute Joe Tomlinson penalty.
Tomlinson steps up, scores, and what a finish from Joe Tomlinson with the penalty, and Eastleigh take a giant leap to the playoffs. This place is absolutely bouncing now.
Wrexham and Chesterfield currently occupy the remaining playoff places, something that could change tonight as Eastleigh travel to Altrincham and what is undoubtedly a season-defining clash. With the biggest game of their season fast approaching, we spoke to Eastleigh media manager Tom Mulholland to see whether the atmosphere is good off the pitch as it is on.
Yeah, it's absolutely brilliant. Obviously, in my few years I've been here, I think it's one of the best kind of years and the best feeling around the club that I've seen. From the fans to the players, everyone's in good spirits and thinks we'll do well, and hopefully we do.
How much of an impact do you think the fans had on Saturday?
I think massively. I think we saw, especially in those last few minutes when we were pushing to get a winner, it was really good to hear the fans back. You know, all week it's been very busy for us behind the scenes getting them in. We had to plan for it with COVID safety calls and getting our ticketing things correct. But it all paid off on the weekend to see 1,500 supporters back in the stadium cheering on the boys. It was really good and satisfying, especially because we managed to win.
It's all set up to be a thrilling finish to the National League season, and with Eastleigh so close to the promised land of the Football League, the whole club has a buzz of excitement around it. Harry Yeadon, Solent Sports News.
The win was not only the only piece of good news for Eastleigh, as they welcomed fans back to the Silver Lake Stadium for the first time since December. Jacob Tanswell was at the game asking fans how they felt about the long-awaited return.
After a 5-month-long wait, fans of Eastleigh were finally welcomed back through the gates of the Silver Lake Stadium for their huge National League match with Bournemouth on Saturday. Some things hadn't changed as the lengthy queue for a burger remained. Not that it could dampen the excitement for the Spitfire fans though, who were getting ready to celebrate the club's 75th anniversary in person.
I've been a member here since, I would like to tell you, I'm 83 now, and I've played for Eastleigh 40 years ago.
I think it's a big occasion that we could come and get out from our homes and see some football. That makes it a big occasion on itself.
Yeah, it does. It does add to the atmosphere, and also because we've got a lot to play for with playoffs. It's a very joyous occasion, I would say.
And it wasn't just a 1,500 strong crowd that were looking forward to the big occasion either. Having worked in empty stadiums since December, everyone within the club was excited to experience proper football again. None more so than media officer Tom Mulholland.
Yeah, it was absolutely brilliant. To be honest, you know, it's been a weird season not having any fans. You know, we've kind of pumped fake crowd noise into the stadium, anything to try and replicate it, but it's not the same. And yeah, it was brilliant. You don't really realise how much you miss the supporters until obviously they're back, and it was great to get the win as well.
The reception the players got as they came onto the pitch proved just that. But it wasn't just the occasion that Eastleigh were playing for. Being just outside the playoffs with a game in hand meant a win on Saturday would put them in control of their own destiny in the playoff race. Fine margins would be crucial, and club captain Danny Hollins felt the fans returning gave them just that.
It's a bit of a cliche, but they're the 12th man. You know, when things were tough, especially Saturday, you know, we're 0-0. Going to the last 20 minutes, you know, for us, we need to get the win. You know, and when something happens in their game, it's nice to hear that roar of people, you know, getting behind you, and it really kind of spurs you on because, you know, you're kind of a little bit tired, especially when you get to my age. You know, it takes a little bit out of the legs, so it's nice to, you know, have them behind you. It kind of gives you that second wind.
The players definitely needed it. The game was a physical one, with 5 bookings being handed out to the away team. But after a gruelling 92 minutes without a goal, Eastleigh finally got their chance, a penalty. Right at the death to be taken by fullback Joe Tomlinson.
We've been waiting for all season to be able to score in front of the fans, so to do it in the last minute for all 3 points, it was brilliant, and seeing all the joy that it gave them, it was definitely a fantastic moment. It was nothing without the fans, so to have them back in, it was brilliant, and it brought an atmosphere that we've missed, definitely.
After being forced to watch the Spitfires through their living rooms for most of the season, there is a growing feeling that Ben Strevens' side can finally reach the promised land of league football. And now, with the power of the loyal Silver Lake behind them, who would bet against a successful promotion push?
That's all for today. We'll be back next week again for more Solent Sports updates.